1.5. Boom! There it is. There we go. All right, ladies and gents, we're back after 2 weeks off. Being able to take a vacation requires you to have people in-house doing some of the stuff that you don't want to do. So if you want to be able to live your life like that in your business, then stay tuned because today's show is just for you.
Shut up and sit down.
Is your business in need of customers? Then you found the right show. Hernan Cias is the business bro, and he makes getting customers fun and easy. Watch, listen, and learn as each episode is designed to sell. Welcome to another episode of
Business Bros. All right, ladies and gents, let's do this thing. Who do we got on the show today? All right, well, building a business can be difficult, especially if you have any sort of success. Why? Because that means you need a team of people to help you maintain and, more importantly, grow. If you are feeling like you're just not enough, there are just not enough hours in the day, like you're just too many things to do and not enough of you to go around, then today's episode is just for you. Our guest is helping entrepreneurs get their time back. How? She helps you build a remote team that you only pay for the work that they do. And I'm excited to find out how to get more time back on my calendar. So let's welcome to the show from Bosun Solutions, Nicole Grinnell. All right, Nicole, what do you think? Couple minutes in.
The most exciting intro I've ever had to a podcast.
Yes.
I'm like hyped, honestly, to hear myself. So that was awesome. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Now you can play it back and loop. And that's just the thing that sounds off on your alarm in the morning. So exactly. I don't know what time you get up, but 5 a.m. goes off. You hear my voice talking about how awesome you are, what you're doing for people.
It's really all the affirmation anybody needs. But thanks for having me today.
Of course. All right, let's get into this. The most important thing, the thing that keeps you going when everything feels like it's falling apart around you, this one thing keeps entrepreneurs going, and I want to know what yours is.
Why are you doing this?
Because I want to know.
Why?
Honestly, it really is a passion for entrepreneurs and a passion for women and providing opportunities for them. That's really why we started the business. It's definitely what keeps us going and motivated to provide those solutions. And it's just so fulfilling and rewarding. So it's uniquely set that it involves my business as well, but that's really what keeps Bosun going and what gets us excited and out of bed in the morning.
Wait, is it because like family time was interfering, or why the woman route? I mean, obviously you're a woman, but why else?
Yeah. So long time ago when I was home with my kids, this type of workforce did not exist. There was no fractional working remotely. It just didn't happen. So I essentially left my corporate job to stay home with them. And I would pick up these side gigs where it was like, hey, could you help me with typing up some reports? Could you do this? And so I kind of in the back of my mind thought like, this is a need, and it's kind of an untapped workforce of these women that have the availability to work 5 hours, 20 hours, depending on where they are in their stage of life, but there's no opportunity to connect them to business owners. And so that's really where that side of the passion came in. And then on the business owner side, I grew up in small business. I've literally been working since I was 10 years old. So my parents were the kind that they took me out of school to go to work. So I have that side and that passion as well, and understanding that they have these needs and how can they scale maybe before their budget even allows to bring in full-time employees. So we really combined those efforts and started Bosun.
That's awesome, because it's absolutely true. Not only do people have those extra hours in the day, randomly throughout the day, by the way, it's not always the simple clock in 9 to 5 set schedule that we were traditionally raised on, especially after this last 2020 pandemic thing. You're right. Things have changed. There are more opportunities. And with the internet, the way it is, the world has gotten a lot smaller. It gives us the opportunity to utilize people's skills all over, not just in one spot. So to make it as simple as possible, if you were explaining this to a 5th grader,
what do you do?
Yeah, that's a great question. So essentially we provide remote teams for the business owner. And what that means is you're bringing in the skill set that you need to delegate. So in traditional employment, what a business owner thinks is, okay, I have the budget now for one full-time employee. So I'm going to make them my bookkeeper, my social media manager, my assistant, and my charge of my sales. Well, that human does not exist. But really what they need is maybe 5 hours of sales support, 4 hours of social media, 10 hours of assistant work. So let's build in that team based on those skill sets. And you're going to have more functioning and higher level of skill sets for those employees. And also you're going to get more value out of what you're bringing in because that person is qualified to work in that role.
I love that because I remember learning about stuff in the entrepreneurial space, right? And I'm one of those people who has like a lot of licenses. I have a degree in accounting, my background's in taxes, I have my insurance license, real estate license, like all kinds of stuff, right? And so anytime you start one of these entities, there's always all these other things. And the reason why I got licensed in those sorts of things is because I was the one who put every single hat on. I was trying to do it all myself.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I mean, there's only 24 hours in it, and I never got the things done that I needed to do to grow my business because I was handling all the other busy work. And what you're describing is really cool because, you know, when you build a business, the ideal thing is to put a person who's a 10 skill in that seat, right? Whether it's accounting or marketing or social media, whatever it is. But when I took it on, I was maybe like a 3 or a 4 at best on those spaces. And you're providing a spot where they can do that. So, you know, help me narrow down. How does an entrepreneur know that they have a problem that needs to be solved? Because sometimes they just don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got a problem here.
That's a great little clip there. So what I always say is when people come to us and they're kind of like, I don't know, but I just know I'm not doing it all. I'm not doing it well. Things are slipping. I know there's probably $10,000 worth of revenue just sitting in my inbox. I just don't even have time. We kind of start there and say, where are you revenue generating? What does that look like for you? Like, where do you make money? Well, it's when I'm out and I'm actually taking time to do a consultation. Okay, great. So what's keeping you from that? Well, I've got to handle my bookkeeping. I got to get payroll out and I've got to get my sales done. And, you know, and so we sort of back away from that and say, okay, now let's try to get your day to where it's 80% revenue generating. What are the tasks we need to take off from there? Let's start with that. And we start building out those roles. We like to do them one at a time. We don't want to throw you a whole team of 5 that now you have to learn to manage and train. Let's start with one. Okay. 99% of the time it's an assistant type of role. So let's bring in that person. So now when your lead is coming in from your sales funnel, it's already been scheduled. They've already reached out. An agreement's already been sent. And you're just waking up on Monday looking at your entire calendar booked out with consultations and wherever that keeps you revenue generating. So we kind of start with there. And then we're going to come back and do a quarterly review. All right, how's that going? How's Sally's doing? What are you looking at? Are we hitting those goals that you are? Great. Now let's talk to that next piece. Let's talk about bookkeeping. Let's make sure that your clients are actually getting invoiced. Let's bring in that bookkeeper, which is probably 1 hour, maybe 2 hours a week, a whole week. And think of what that takes for you as the business owner to shift your mind into accounting and making sure that everyone has been invoiced. So we really just kind of start to paint that picture for the business owner of what that could look like. And it just naturally evolves into filling up their team.
Now, when I think of hiring somebody who is an accountant, somebody who is an assistant, like an executive assistant, or somebody who is in HR, like in my mind, that sounds expensive, right? Like all of a sudden it's like, well, this person's really good. They should be paid really well. And I don't know if I have that kind of budget, right? So if you're looking for a specific type of client out there, like who is this ideal client that you're looking for?
I am looking for qualities beyond physics.
Okay, so what I would tell everyone is we're a great way to start scaling because it's such a low barrier to entry. I mean, really the minimum amount that you are looking at is a 5-hour week, which roughly translates from $150 to $200 a week. That's it, to get 5 hours off and to really start understanding how delegating and building your team could work. You can cancel anytime. It's a really low, like I said, it's the best way. So if nothing else, if you wanted to start with like, hey, let's start with a 5-hour a week assistant. Let's see what that feels like. See how this works. A lot of business owners, just like you described, they've been doing everything. They've never managed a team. So it's kind of like, I don't even know how this world works. And that's kind of the support that we provide along the way too, is helping them manage that, learn to delegate. So the business owner that is ready for this is anyone who can afford $150 a week of delegation.
And that's not bad, dude. 150 bucks a week for somebody to help you 5 hours. And again, here's the thing in my mind. It's 5 hours to the person who knows how to do it. That could be 10 or 15 hours of your time because you're not as good or proficient or efficient as that other person is. And you brought something else up, the management issue. Because I know personally myself, not very good at managing people when it comes to this stuff. I'm almost feel like I'm a people pleaser type person. And so setting boundaries, setting quotas and KPIs, and then enforcing them, right? That's a whole different ballgame. Now, you mentioned that you kind of coach people through this process.
Yeah. And what you described, I would say a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners are not great managers. One, because they've kind of had to do it all. They'll get frustrated that this person's not doing it as quickly. And we'll have to kind of walk them through that and understand, you've been doing this 5 years. They've been doing it 2 weeks. You also built this. So let's talk through how we're going to train them. As well as what you just said, a lot of times people are people pleasers. So we will check in with them and they'll say, it's fine. And we'll kind of say, well, what does that mean? Talk to me about what you're feeling in that. Because fine is not what we're looking for. So how could we make it great? So we'll kind of talk through that as well. And it gives you a place, sort of a safe place to describe those frustrations, describe what is working well, describe what you would like to see. Because communicating with your team sometimes can be awkward and people don't really know how to handle that. And I love Sally. She's so sweet. She's always checking in on me. I can't possibly break her heart. Well, we're not breaking anyone's heart. We want to excel. We want your business to thrive. And Sally wants to do a good job. So we kind of walk through all of those management issues as well.
Yeah, that's awesome to have that support and guidance in that step, because fine is that 4-letter F word that really hurts you. I mean, what people don't understand, you hear things like, hire slow, fire quickly, all those different things. But what you don't realize is if you don't hire the right person, that's salary that's paid. And then you got to, let them go. And now you're talking more money that goes out the door, plus all that time of training and putting them into that seat. And then it turns out to be like, there's so many issues with hiring that I don't think a lot of entrepreneurs quite understand. Plus, $150 a month to start is huge because that's flat. When you hire an employee, especially in the state of California, you're going to be paying employment taxes on all that stuff. So the person you're bringing on is working and doing work for you, but they're not necessarily a W-2. You're 1099 in them. So it's even more cost effective, right?
Yep. So we're really looking for someone who, in the contractor side, who is wanting to work this way for a different stage of their life. It can be empty nesters, it can be travel, it can be children, whatever, it can be their schedule. So we're trying to hone in on the people that are willing to take that compromise because of a life situation they have. And on the flip side, we have a business owner who maybe doesn't have 40 hours worth of work or isn't to the level of being able to provide that or the benefits. So they kind of have a compromise in as availability of the contractor. And we are really big on setting kind of expectations of work that needs to be done. But the reality is, as a business owner and as a contractor, it's a lonely world, right? You're making decisions in a silo. You don't have kind of the whole office environment. You may not even have a partner. And so we really wanted to provide that support on both sides to say, hey, we understand how it is to be a manager. Let's walk through that. And also on a contractor side, like we want to provide that culture and support for them as well.
Huge. Culture makes when you're growing your business, you're bringing people on and sometimes they might be a good fit when it comes to the resume, but not always when it comes to the culture of your business. I love that you're going with that. So how are you finding these people? How are you finding both contractors that want to do work as well as businesses who actually want to start scaling and growing? It's all about customer acquisition.
I'm loving these clips. So yeah, I will be honest with you. We are 100% referral. When we first started out, I had this network of friends. I've lived all over across the country and was like, I'm starting this. It's fantastic. I know you used to be a manager at Salesforce and you used to be a paralegal and let's bring everybody in. And it honestly just grew. Same thing on the client base. I mean, the first year we were definitely hitting the pavement, getting our name out there working. But we do not even have a marketing fund. We are just total referral based. We want to provide great customer service. We want to provide great employees. We want to have a great internal team. And I think that shows. I mean, we've grown significantly year over year, and it's really just showing up, understanding where the business owner is coming from, providing that great support, and bringing them talented people.
Yeah, that scouting the talent is always the hardest part, in my opinion. I mean, it's good on you, by the way, for having a referral based business, because what you have is a satisfied customer who's out there talking to other people in the same situation. For us, one of those big things that we use is video testimonials, because that's exactly what it captures, is somebody that you as the professional have provided a great service for somebody and they're excited. They tell people. The only problem with that is you have no control over who they tell and how often they tell it to them. So a video testimonial helps capture that. Yeah. If people do want to reach out and work with you, for example, and they just don't know, how to start, where to go, what's that going to be like? What's your sales process like? There you go.
I would love that type of sales funnel. That's right. So we do initially what we call a strategy call, and that's really where we walk through that. We get to know a little bit more about yourself, the business, where you feel stuck, where that bottleneck is that's keeping you revenue generating. And we kind of walk through what that role would be. So that's typically about a hour call that we go through that. From there, we send over a proposal and an agreement, just kind of outlining what we think would be the next best steps. And then once that's complete, we go over and say like, okay, now let's talk about your dream fit. Not only just on skill sets, we talk about availability, personality types, chemistry, and culture is a huge factor in that. And then from there, we'll do your sourcing and then your onboarding call. So it typically from strategy call all the way to onboarding is about a week. And then we are just there to support you. You get assigned a relationship manager, and that's the person you're going to go to like, hey, Sally's great. I'm ready for that next role. Can you look at my proposal and let's talk about the next piece? So we're kind of there to support you as that is scalable for you.
Tell me a little bit about some of the clients that work with you, because to me, nothing is greater than when you implement something, when you help somebody and you see them achieve a level of success that they weren't able to do themselves, right? Einstein has this saying, right? That problems cannot be solved by the same level of thinking that created them. So the entrepreneur, not that they're not capable of growing their business, they just don't always know those little pieces that they need to put in place. So do you have a story of a client or something where they were and where they got to?
Yeah. So one of my favorites was actually our very first client. And he was an attorney. They had a branch in Georgia, and about 2 or 3 years into using us, he said, hey, I'm thinking about opening my own firm. Like I'm thinking about leaving. And we were like, okay, we kind of walked through like what that would look like. And we were like, okay, you tell us when, like you're going to pull the trigger. And he was able to walk away from that firm, start his own based in Manhattan. And we were able to fully outfit it. Like he was able to walk away knowing we're sort of the HR department. We set up the processes. We got payroll running. We're able to get insurance. I mean, it was like we set up his business. And that was like incredible because one, I have such a passion for business that it's just an exciting opportunity. But it was like he could literally come to us, and no matter, from the fencing company in Indiana to the Manhattan-based law firm that needs to be set up, we can provide that support.
That's awesome. A seamless transition. Hey, I'm thinking of leaving one company and going over to another. Do you mind setting it all up for me? I mean, right. Who says that and who does that, right? That's super impressive. When it comes to just getting the clientele to come to you, the contractors to come to you, do you have specific criteria for them? Or is it just like, hey, I got a particular service, I can go to the website and apply? Or are you looking for somebody in particular at this time? What about the contractor side?
Yeah, so we don't really have anything set in stone as far as like they have to have a 4-year degree or anything like that. It's really about experience and skill set. So we're telling everybody like apply, because quite honestly, you never know what business is going to need that. Operational roles are all over the board that we support. So once they've applied and we've kind of done the initial screening, and really at that point, we're just making sure that this is a good fit for them in culture and the clients that we're bringing. So if someone is, 23 and looking to climb the corporate ladder, this is not a great position for you. But if you are looking to have the flexibility, you want to be able to work, sort of self-employed for whatever reason, it's a great fit. And so then at that point, we kind of discuss how Bosun works, what they can expect client-wise. They're able to stack clients. So some people will come to us and they're like, I want 30 hours. Well, that may be 2 or 3 businesses that they get to support within that. So definitely apply if you're interested. We're always looking for great talent.
When you're working with some of these entrepreneurs and some of these contractors, personalities don't always connect the way we anticipate, right? One person might have a different personality type or say things a certain way, and another person might not agree. What happens if we have some sort of conflict there? We have some sort of staff come on. It's not really a fit to what we're looking for. How does that get handled?
Yeah. So again, back to kind of the support that we wanted to provide for business owners. So very much what you said about how scary bringing an employee is, right? There's just a lot that is included in that, and the responsibility, the time, the effort, money, all of that. So if it is ever not a fit, or if that contractor just goes on to other things, I mean, we'd love to say that we have a crystal ball and can predict everything, but we're in the business of people. So things happen. But we want to be able to provide that support. So when you are bringing on someone, those processes are being documented, and all of that training time that you're initially investing, it's one time only. So if we have to switch Sally out and bring in, Susie, that training is now going to be absorbed by us because you've already paid for it one time as the business owner. So the best that our ability of having those processes documented, paying for the training time, we obviously handle the recruiting and finding of another replacement. We have business owners that they're like, I've lost an assistant to another job and I don't even think about it. I just know you guys are going to handle it. You'll bring me somebody else that's great. I don't have to worry about the training. I don't have to absorb the costs. I've just got a new great person in there for me. So we kind of handle all of that sort of HR, recruiting, training processes without you having any downtime.
That's perfect. Because I mean, that's the reality of things. People don't always get along, or they just think differently. And it reminds me of that entrepreneurial mindset. And I kind of got a question for you on more of the personal level. I know for me, I can't shut it off. Like when I start thinking about business stuff, I mean, I'm thinking about it all day. I was having this discussion with my wife the other day, and I was telling her, sometimes I feel bad because I'm thinking about things and I'm trying to be in the moment, but my mind wants to be over here all the time. What's your mind like as an entrepreneur, living and breathing other entrepreneurs' lifestyles and their businesses? How do you handle all of it? Is it just something that you love, or is it something that you're trying to kind of get your own time back?
Yeah, I always say I don't think I am an entrepreneur. Like I know that I started a business, but much of what you described, and I would say my family can kind of be more that way, where like I call it like shiny ball syndrome, right? Like, oh, this looks cool. This could be revenue. I don't really have that. I just truly love to support business. I love operational roles. I love having processes. I love making sure things from A to Z are all lined up. So my passion is more just straight business. Like I could nerd out on business like all day. You just give me your logins and passwords and I will clean up your business and it'll be fantastic. Like that's what I'm going to nerd out on. So I don't have that necessary like serial entrepreneur. Maybe I could do this. Maybe I could do that. Of course, occasionally thoughts come in like, oh, okay, well maybe, when I retire, I could do X, Y, and Z, but I don't get the shiny ball thing. It's not me. I'm sort of like head down working, wanting to make sure we're servicing our clients okay.
You are an SOP nerd, right? You're
I
like,
am.
give me those standard operating procedures. And if you don't have one, let me develop it for you because you're missing out on something big, right?
Yeah. And I'm kind of a mixture because I actually don't write things down. In fact, when we bring on internal team members, I'm like, I'm sorry, everything is just in my head, but I just love to see things run functionally. And when I see clients that get so invested in like 20 different technologies that are all doing the same thing, and it's just all over the world, I'm like, I can knock 10 hours off your week just looking at what you've got going on right now. So that kind of stuff I love, and to just clean it up and just make it simple. I mean, business is business on the backside. So I love it.
It's still the same thing over and over again.
It
Problem,
is, yeah.
solution, problem,
Exactly.
solution. And in between there is process. That's it, right? That's all that's there.
Process, profits. Yep.
Yep. All right. If people do want to reach out, whether on the contractor side or as a business owner, how do they get a hold of you?
Say hello to my little friend.
So they can actually reach us at Bosun, which is Bosun Solutions.com. You can also just email me, which is Nicole at BosunSolutions.com. And for any of your listeners, we're actually going to waive our onboarding fee, which is typically $300. So if they mention your show, you will get a free onboarding to our account, which includes your first hour of training and onboarding your new assistant.
Perfect. Nicole, you jumped the gun on me. You're so organized. No, that's cool. It's cool. I just do it for so that we can make sure that we line it up. So post editing sounds super cool. So I'm gonna have you do it one more time. You ready?
Me? I'm giving away free money.
What's your promo and giveaway?
Awesome. So for all your listeners, we would love to give a free onboarding, which essentially is around a $300 value. And it includes onboarding your new assistant and your first hour of training. So if they mention your show, we will waive that onboarding fee.
Boom, $300 savings. I mean,
right there.
That's essentially, based on what you told me when you're getting started, that's 2 weeks of somebody coming in and helping you out to save time on your calendar. I mean, that's super awesome. All right, let me see if I got it all right.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are an entrepreneur. There's 24 hours in the day, and you're using them all up doing things that are busy working your business, but not necessarily cash producing activities. So how do you get a little more time on your calendar? It's very simple. You guys can go to a website. I'm going to pop it up on the screen, bosunsolutions.com, BOSUN solutions.com, for as little as 5 hours of work that you can get started. No commitments. You can have actual professionals doing things for your business, giving you back the time that you need. And wait, gets a little bit better. If you go to bosunsolutions.com, mention the Business Bros podcast, you're going to get $300 off your startup. That means 1 hour of training. That means getting it all started. Your person to come on board. You save $300. Start making a change in your business. Take your time back, because that's why you got into business in the first place. You didn't get into business to do all the busy work. You got into business so you can make more money and get more time. And this is how you get ready, get started, and get scaling. bosunsolutions.com, bosunsolutions.com. So what do you think, Nicole? How did I do?
You're fantastic. I'm going to take you on the road with me. You can pitch right along next to me.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Last little thing that I love to do. You said you've been on a lot of different podcasts. I'm sure you're on them because, let's face it, you're getting your business name out there. That's what it's all about. So, my thought behind doing a podcast is I got to bring as much energy and put smiles on my guests' faces so they can talk about their business in the best light possible. So, what was your experience like on the Business Bros?
I loved it. I loved your energy. I'll be honest. I've done them all over the board, from like dull to like, are you here? Are you listening? And you brought the energy. I would totally tune in and listen to this. And I looked up your shows the other night, and I just love that you're providing great value, because business owners needs a like circle of information that they can be going to, and tips and ways to get help and scale. And so I really appreciate you having us on.
Sweet. All right. How about from a marketing side? I mean, that's really, really what we do. We help create content for our customers. We help create video testimonials. We do paid ads, that sort of stuff. When you signed up for our show, you got to see our landing page. I know it was a while back. You get emails and text messages. How do you like our overall marketing?
I thought it was great. I loved that you guys sent all the reminders, which is fantastic, because a lot of times you show up and you're not even sure where the link is, what this is about. So you guys did a fantastic job on that, again, with processes, and just love your branding, and it's awesome.
SOPs, baby. Nicole, you and my brother would get along really well because he's my SOP guy. Like, we own an insurance agency together, and that's his thing. Like, he will sit down. You do, because I'm the other one. I'm the one like, oh, I got a good idea. We should do it this way. And he looks at me like, it's going to take this and this and this and this and this and this. And he starts looking at every single step to get there. And then when he finally figures it out, I change it on him again, of course, right? That's the visionary in me, I guess. Yeah.
You need a gas and brake in every relationship. It helps you level out, because if you were left to go wild, there's no telling where you'd get, right? Like, you need somebody to be like, okay, but dude, like, did you think about this? Like, so it's great. Yeah.
Gas and brake, 100%. All right, Nicole, thank you very much for coming on the show. Before we head out, is there anything that maybe I missed, something that you wanted to cover before we go?
I don't think so. I think just, really like trust that it is possible. So much of being an entrepreneur is just thinking that only you can do it. Only you can do it a certain way. I will tell you 99% of the times you're going to be shocked. Your person might do it better than you. And that's the goal, honestly. So just trust the process. And we would love to be able to talk, even if it's just to bounce off ideas.
All right, ladies and gents, you heard it. You're ready to move on to the next level. You can't do it by yourself. Entrepreneurship is a team sport. Even though you might be a solopreneur now, the way to scale and get your time back is to use a team. So one more time before you guys head out, pop it up on the screen, bosunsolutions.com, BOSUN solutions.com. And let's start leveling up, ladies and gents. Nicole, thank you very much for being a guest on the program today. And the rest of you guys, we'll see you later. Peace. Oops, hitting my mic, and we're out.
Thanks for watching The Business Bros. If you're ready to get more clients and want to work with the Business Bro, visit our website, www.businessbros.biz, and click on the Need More Customers button, or learn how to generate more referrals with our video testimonial packages. Go to www.businessbros.biz and start getting more